Okay. As always, make sure to unmute yourself and say, hey, if anything comes up, if you have any questions about anything, um, grab a strap. Those of us who are joining us on a recording, you'll just want something that you can use to hold onto your foot, um, like a long sleeve t-shirt or a scarf or something will totally work. So we're not going to use it a ton, but it'll be useful at some point. We're going to work on a lot of transitions today, kind of repeating a couple of them just to like feel out that in between kind of space. And I was inspired to move into that kind of a practice. I was actually reading Start Where You Are by Pema Chodron. And she talks about, I'm on the wrong page, of course I am. She talks about how, here's what she said. We already have everything we need. There is no need for self-improvement. This is who we really are, and we are one blink of an eye away from being fully awake. And looking at ourselves this way is very different from our usual habit. From this perspective, you don't need to change. You can feel as wretched as you like, and you're still a good candidate for enlightenment. You can feel like the world's most hopeless basket case, but that feeling is your wealth, not something to be thrown out or improved upon. There's a richness to all of the smelly stuff that we so dislike and so little desire. The delightful things, what we love so dearly about ourselves and the places in which we feel some sense of pride or inspiration, those are also our wealth. And she goes on to talk more about this and more about this truth that we are whole and complete and wonderful exactly the way that we are, but it's hard to see us that way because we think of things like the times when we're unbalanced or where we're falling over or where we're not maybe feeling like the best version of ourselves or the best version of the self that we wish that we were, that we are still whole in that place. I was working with some teachers a while ago on this art project and our art training, and we were talking about how hard it is, especially as artists and as creative people who tend to be kind of like living on edges. Like it's so hard to be balanced. Like I'm always trying to just find this balance and this steady point. And one of the teachers says, well, what if instead of working on being balanced, which is so hard to achieve, can we just learn to be okay and operate and find peace in imbalance? Can we be okay in the time where we're not centered and perfect and steady? Because honestly, those are a lot more common, right? So we'll be working on some transitions and going into some places where you might feel kind of unsteady and it won't be too wild. We're not going to like do acrobatics or anything, but kind of focusing on the places in between the poses. The places that where we're moving through, because that's really where most of the practice is. It's going in between spaces. Let me pop up and let somebody in. All right. So we're going to start off as usual with some face brushing, index finger and thumb together. Start at the center of your forehead and really notice the place in between the center of your forehead and your temples. Like, what is the journey like of this brushing? And then also going from the sides of your nose out to your temples and noticing the spaces in between, the whole journey of this brush. And from the temples down to your chin, along your jawline, feeling that whole outer edge of your face. And from the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And taking your fingertips underneath and behind your ears, find that little bony spot. And as you lift up, tune into the sensations that start to lengthen. Tune into the places you start to feel some space, some lift in your spine. And try to keep that lift continuously working skywards through the crown of the head, and then rest your hands down in your lap, let the palms face up. Relax your shoulders, allow the heart to open, and take a few deep breaths. Noticing every part, the pauses in between, and observing without judgment. We're not better or worse at this practice when the breath is smooth and steady. The practice is about finding that. It's about the process. It's about noticing the imbalanced points and still breathing there, because you are still worthy and complete and whole there too. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Let the air out through your mouth. Again, deep breath in, big loud sigh. For 3 ohms. And as your breath returns to a steady, even flow, or rather as steady and even as it's willing to get at this point, feel yourself lifting up again as you inhale, getting a little bit longer through the spine. And then as you exhale, relax your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Pause there for a moment. See if you can soften the front of your throat. Notice if anything else has shifted, if you can keep this tilt just in the neck. And then as you exhale, we're going to start gently rolling the chin down towards the chest. Don't worry about making it a big movement. Just make it nice and easy on yourself. And inhale, lift the head up. Relaxing your left ear over towards your left shoulder. And notice if your head is balanced. Sometimes there's a tilting forward or back. Can you find that middle ground? Even if it takes some shifting and adjusting to get there. And as you exhale, softening the chin down towards your chest and inhaling to lift the head up. We're going to take a little flow with this. Exhale, relax your right ear to your right shoulder. Stay there as you inhale. Take your time exhaling the chin down towards your chest. And then gently lift the head back up. Inhale. Exhaling the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Stay there as you inhale. Exhaling the chin down towards your chest. Inhaling to lift it back up. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Stay as you inhale. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, lift the head up. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Stay there as you inhale. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhaling, lift it up. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Last round, inhale, stay. Exhale, drop the chin. Inhale, lift the head up. Exhale, left side. Stay as you inhale. Exhale, chin down to the chest. And inhale, lift yourself back up. We're going to take the right leg, go ahead and extend it out in a way that's comfortable to you. So it doesn't have to be super open, but open enough that you have a little bit more room in the hips. We're going to do a little bit of circling around in the hips, which is going to be kind of intense on this leg. So just let it kind of work itself out. Don't make it too big or too wild, just enough to get the tissue sort of lubricated. And then go in the other direction. And And then start to lift your right toes up. You might bend into the leg if that feels better to you. Do try to keep the knee turned back if the leg's bent though. Get the toes up. We're going to turn open towards the left side and then slide that right hand down and let the left arm come up and over. And then notice where this shape feels imbalanced because it's asymmetrical. It's going to be imbalanced. Can you still relax into your left hip? Can you still lengthen those right side ribs? And then as you exhale and you soften something, where do you feel that softening? Inhale, lift yourself up. And just going to take a little twist in the other direction. Just gently press that thigh down, get a little stretch to that inside thigh space. And start to come out of that twist and switch your legs so that the left leg comes out and the right leg is folded in just in a way that's comfortable to you, and it doesn't even need to be folded in at all. We're going to turn away. Oh, we're doing the stirring. Missing parts. Imbalanced. Let's go ahead and roll it around and just getting the fluid going in that space. And then go in the other direction. And then when you feel like you've probably got it about even, you're going to lift the toes up. You might bend the knee, you might not. You can feel it out. And this side it's a little bit different than the other one. And then turn away from your extended leg. Slide that left hand down your extended leg and then reach the right arm up and over. Notice what might be different in your hips. Since it's a different side, your legs and your hip sockets are arranged just a little bit differently. Can you still reach out on the left side even though you're folding into it? One more breath in, feel yourself get longer, soften something as you exhale. And then lift the belly, lift yourself up. We'll just place the right hand on the right thigh and twist away from it, just gently opening up all of that tissue on the inside of the thigh. One more round of breath. And then start to let that go. We're going to come off of whatever it is that you're sitting on. If you were sitting on something, and start to take yourself down onto your back. Make sure you've got your strap or whatever you might be using nearby. You won't need it right away, but you'll want to have it handy. Just come down onto your back and take a moment. Maybe the knees knock against each other. Just letting yourself rest into the floor. The back muscles might be relaxing and settling with gravity as they're no longer working so hard to support your nice long lifted spine. And then bring your knees or your feet a little bit closer towards each other. With the arms out by your sides, roll your knees over towards the right. And then start to move them over towards the left. And try not to control this so much as you're just noticing the way that your legs want to move. Like maybe one leg moved and the other followed, or maybe you're really keeping them together. Just noticing your habits and your movement patterns without judgment, because it doesn't matter. All you got to do is get from one side to the other. And it doesn't matter how fast you're moving. It doesn't matter if it perfectly matches your breath. Maybe you've already brought that into your practice because it's become a habit. Maybe you're just focusing on the sensation of these legs moving side to side. Try to take one more full round. Go to the right and go to the left. And then when you feel like you're about even, come back to the center. Leave the knees facing up, the feet planted down. You're going to take your right leg only and open it out to the side. And then feel your belly drawing in and your inner thighs magnetizing as you bring that right leg back up. As you inhale, open the left leg out to the left side. It's okay if your hips get a little uneven, but try only to open it up as much as you can. Keep your hips steady and feel the belly and the inner thighs magnetizing back together. And move with your breath a bit. Inhale, feeling the opening, not just the open space. And exhale, feeling that closing. Inhale, feel the leg opening up. Exhale, connect with the drawing in. Inhale, open the right. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, open the left. Exhale, bring it in. Yours doesn't need to open a lot. It could just be a few inches. Just staying with that drawing in feeling. One more round like this. Finish it up. Make sure you go over to the left side and then rest for a moment. You might go back to that and do that again, or we can start to amp this up a little bit more and take it into a little bit more core work. As we do this, don't get your leg all the way out to the side. We're just going to move the knee over a couple of inches, like 8 or 10 inches or so, yeah? So take your shins up so they're parallel with the ceiling. Knees are above your hips. Slide your hands underneath your pelvis so that you've got a little bit more support there. Try to relax your shoulders. Let the fire be in your belly. As you inhale, open that right leg about 8 or 10 inches and feel the belly and the inner thighs drawing everything back together. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, taking it in. And it doesn't need to be far, but can you make it smooth? So it doesn't matter how far you get, can you stay connected with the opening and the connecting? Maybe you've got about 2 more rounds left in you. Maybe your shoulders are soft. Maybe your jaw muscles are all tightened up. See where you can be maybe a little bit softer. Feel that connection, probably on your last round to the left side, and then take the legs down, set the feet down. From here, take just a moment to open those legs. You can use your hands to support your thighs so that there's no tension. Just feel softness and relaxation coming into that space on the insides of your thighs. You just work so hard. Exhaling. And then bring the legs back to the center. You're going to grab your strap now and loop it around the bottom of the right foot. And as you wrap the strap around your knuckles, letting the leg be as far away from you as you like, as you extend that leg and make it really, really straight. See if you can stay soft in your breath as you feel the fire in your body and in the top of your knee, that quad muscle, for 3 more deep breaths. Really working on straightening the leg, pushing the foot outwards into the strap. 1 more full deep breath in. Feel that foot pressing outwards as you breathe out. And then relax the leg a little bit. Feel it bend. Take your left foot and wiggle it a little bit further forward. And if that's going well, you'll wiggle that foot a little bit further forward still. And if that's still going well, you can keep extending the leg out until you get to a point at which the body says, maybe we back up a couple of inches, and then go ahead and do that. And then start letting your right leg fall against you. You can have a very bent leg. Like you see, my leg is not straight. Just letting it relax downwards. And then we're going to open the leg up. So take both ends of your strap into your right hand. You're going to turn the knee and the toe out, and then take it over. Maybe it goes a little bit over to the side. Maybe it's still way up here. You can get to a point where you can rest on the elbow and use that to support and pull this leg in. That might be a little bit easier. And you're imbalanced, right? You've got one leg that's opening up and one leg that's not. Can you take the fire in your belly and roll it over towards the left side? Exhaling. And draw those inner thighs up, bringing the leg up. And then you're going to hold on to the strap with your left hand, open the right arm, come into a twist, bring that leg as far down as you like. Yes, it can be bent. Maybe you leave it straight and kind of hold on to the foot there. Now soften your belly and roll it over towards the right side. Pretty intense twist. Find what's good for you in it. Find a level that's good for you. Deep breath in. Soften something as you exhale. And then you're going to draw your belly down to the floor. Lift that leg back up. And take your strap off of the foot, switching to the other side. Go. And then we're gonna start with a straight leg. So once you wrap up your hands, you're gonna make the leg as straight as possible, so no bend. A little bit tense, a little bit maybe hard to hold that pressure and strength. As long as the knee doesn't hurt inside, it's okay to get that quad muscle a little bit fired up. And keep pushing outwards through that foot. Take an inhale, let your shoulders soften. Exhale, push the foot out in your strap. And then relax that leg a bit. So there's a little bend or a lot of bend, whatever amount of bend feels good to you. And start to slide your right foot a little bit forward. And then stay with yourself as you move it a little bit forward still. You might get pretty far out there, or you might stop at some point, and it might not be the same point that you stopped at on the other side. Breathe into it. Feel the legs opening, the scissor they've got going on. One more exhale. And you're going to start moving the strap over into your left hand. Turn the left knee and toe out to the side. And then find a place where you are supported and still having a pretty big stretch, opening this leg out. And it might be that you just go here. Yeah, just open a bit, if that's where your hips are. And then you'll work a little bit more on rolling the belly over towards the right. And I'll work on trying to roll that belly over towards the right. One more round of breath. And then taking the leg up, we're going to take that leg all the way over towards the right side. So you might keep it a little bit hovering with the legs straight. You might bend into it, drop it down, keep the legs straight, drop it down. Find a place that works for you. Feel that deep opening on the outside of that top hip. Softening your belly and letting it roll over towards the left side. One more exhale. And then taking the strap off of your foot, taking it back to the center, setting the strap off to your side, bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Rock around, feeling that movement in your low back, the massage of your back onto the floor. And then rock yourself up to a seat and take yourself through into table pose. Get up onto your hands and knees. Work through a few cat and cow. So you'll drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tail, and then round through the spine as you exhale. Inhaling cow pose, exhaling cat pose. Of course, thinking about that transition point in between. Noticing the journey from shape to shape. Finish another round. Come to your exhale, round the spine deeply, and then as you inhale, more neutral spine. Take your time bringing your right foot forward. So getting it up there, and then taking your hands up onto your front thigh. And start turning your heart over towards the right. Feel your inner thighs lifting, so you get a little bit more power and connection in this centerpiece. Then turn your heart over to the right. Open your right arm to the right. If that feels good and you feel steady, maybe you open your left arm forward. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. And then inhale. Lift the hands up. You're going to face back to the space in front of you. As you exhale, we're going to twist, opening these arms out. Inhale, lift the arms up, face in front of you. Keep pushing to that front foot. Exhale, twist. One more like that. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, twist. And then come out of the twist. Take your hands down. Bring your right leg back. Go ahead and work through some cat and cow while I turn the sun down. I hope that helped a little bit. It's like just that time of day. And then finish up that round that you're on and bring your left foot forward and your hands up. So with the front foot pressing down and those inner thighs drawn in, you have a little bit more heat and connection in this lower body that might help to keep you feel a little bit more stable. You'll take your left arm open as you turn your heart over towards the left. And if that feels good, you might take the right hand forward. Let your exhale twist you open a little bit more, and then inhale, take the hands up, face forward. Exhale, twist. You could, of course, put the right hand down onto the left thigh as you twist. That will make it a little bit more stable. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, soft belly twist. Keep lifting those inner thighs. Inhale to the front, lift up. Exhaling, twist. And then inhaling back to the center. And take the hands down. Go ahead and draw your left leg back. And you can either come to laying flat on your belly or widening the knees and coming into child's pose. Just face downwards. Let your breath soften. Let your belly soften. Find a place to rest your head that is comfortable. Feel the back expanding and softening with your breath. And then start coming up into table pose, but take a table pose where your hands are just another handprint forward. You're going to lower onto your belly. Try to keep your elbows in. Just settle it down there. And when you get down, wiggle your legs back a little bit more so you've got lots of space in the fronts of your hips. We'll come into cobra pose. Feel your heart lifting up and your shoulders going back. And then exhale, soften down. See if you can draw your belly in and push yourself back up into that long table pose. And then exhale, pull the hips back. We're going to come forward into that long table pose again. Take an exhale and lower yourself down onto your belly. It doesn't have to be graceful or smooth. Inhale, cobra pose. Send that heart forward. Exhale, soften it down. Coming back up, push yourself up, press the hips back. Inhale, coming forward. Last time through, lower it down. Inhale, cobra pose, long and open through the heart. Exhale, relax it. Push into the hands, lift yourself up. This time, downward facing dog, curling the toes under. Use all the fingertips to support you. One more inhale, soften something as you exhale. Coming into a forward fold, feet to hands and hands to feet. Nice, easy legs. Take your time coming up to standing. Be nice and easy with yourself. And then when you arrive, shake your hands out a little bit. The blood pumping back in there after doing all of that work. And we will take the feet out nice and wide. About underneath the hands and turning to warrior two on the right side. So turn your right toes all the way out your left toes and bend into that right leg. So we're going to feel those inner thighs engaging. So we're lifted up in that pelvis with a strong foundation. Keeping the legs steady. Inhale and come up to peaceful warrior. See if you can get upwards a little bit more in those ribs. And then exhaling, side angle, take the elbow down, reach that left arm up and over, and make sure that your right thigh is still going back towards your left foot. Inhaling, coming up to peaceful warrior. Take your time, go nice and slow. And then exhale, side angle. Inhaling, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. 2 more like that. Exhale, reach it over. Feel the movement of the spine in between these shapes. And go ahead and lift it all the way up. Straighten your leg and switch sides, coming over towards the left. So once you get the left toes over and turn the right toes in, bend into that right leg, feel your inner thighs pulling in, and then steady in this foundation, this center. Keeping the leg steady as you lift your heart upwards towards your left hand. See if you can get it a little bit longer, and that'll be where you move to in between side angle and peaceful warrior. Go ahead and come forward, bring that hip back. Try to keep that leg steady, reaching out long, and then taking the flow with it, inhaling, peaceful warrior, exhaling, reach into that side angle. Let it be continuous movement. Even when you arrive in the shape, keep moving, keep expanding, keep breathing. Good. 2 more rounds. Really work on strong feet, steady breath. And then go ahead and open yourself up, lift it up, turn the toes forward, and bring your feet in together. So facing up towards the front of your space, you've got room behind you. I'm going to sit back into chair pose. Make sure that your hips are far back behind you. It doesn't have to be the deepest chair, but get that weight moving behind you. And then bring your hands into your heart. Keep the weight in your right foot. Lift your left heel up. You should already start to feel that upper butt working on that right side. And then relax your chest. You're going to take the left toes and tap them back. And then bring them back in. And stay in that bend in the right leg. Tap it back. And breathe it in. And try to keep the heart open as you tap it back. Ooh, and bring it back in. 1 more time. Tap it back. And bring it back in. Tap it back as far as you can. Set the back heel down and lift your arms up, warrior 1. Just a little bit of fire going on in that left hip, yeah? I don't know why it's so bright in here. Got the blinds down and everything. Feel that strong front leg. We're going to lean forward. Bring your hands to your heart. You're going to come to standing. Try to take this left leg and lift it up this time. So come all the way up and then set it down. And then take the left foot and step it back again. So coming back to warrior 1. And stay present with that transition. Feel what it feels like to bring the leg up. It's not a long one because you got to get up standing. Just go, lift the leg up. Ooh. And then set it down. And then because we've gotten into the left hip, got to get into the right hip, bring those hips back, chair pose, weight back into the heels, toes facing forward, feet fairly close together, hands at heart and heart open. And move the weight into your left foot, lift your right heel. So you just have the toes touching for balance, and you keep the intensity right here in the left hip as you tap it back and tap it forward. Maybe you inhale to tap it back and feel the legs coming in, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time like that. Bring it in. And then this time, tap it back as far as you can get it. Turn the heel down, take a little wiggle around, whatever you got to do to find warrior 1. Lift those arms up. The outer left hip is pulling back towards the right foot. Still keeping long and strong right in there. Inhaling. Exhaling, lean forward, bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna come all the way up to standing, lifting that right knee up and through, and then sending it down. And then getting in another round just to feel that transition again. Stepping back, leaning forward. And from those warrior one legs, take that right leg up and set it down. And wiggle things out. We're gonna come from eagle pose into half moon, and not like normal half moon. We're gonna come into like high up half moon. It's just gonna be like here. I'm gonna turn the blinds. I'm gonna disappear back there. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is wild. Okay, so this will be our half moon. Just your lifted toes will face forward, your standing toes will face out to the side, and you'll be here. So that's where you're gonna go to. But first, you're gonna wrap yourself up in eagle pose. So if I'm standing on my right leg, my left leg is on top. If you're mirroring me, and guess this is your right leg on top. And then you're gonna squeeze your hips back just like in chair pose. And then you're either gonna take your elbows and palms together, or the opposite arm comes on top, or you give yourself a hug. Wherever you're going with this, just squeeze things in. Feel yourself compressing, connecting, contracting. Stand strong on that bottom foot, because we're gonna open up from eagle into that half moon shape. Just feel things open up and be free, and then set your foot down. It doesn't have to be a long balance. I love this transition because it really comes from like compression into freedom. So we'll do it a couple more times. Go ahead and wrap up that top leg, same side into eagle pose. Sit the hips back, other elbow on top or next to it or hugging, whatever you've chosen is fine, but wrap inwards. Press those hips back, exhale. And then unwind, half moon, set it down. One more time, wrap it in. Opposite arm on top, squeeze it back. Squeeze it in, big exhale, squeeze those legs, and then open up, half moon, and release. A lot of glute work today. Aren't you glad you showed up? Let's take the other side. So I'm just facing you the other way because it's weird not to face you. Have the other leg on top, sit your hips back. Opposite arm on top, wrap those hands, push those hips back, press those elbows together, press those thighs together. Long in the spine and steady in the breath still. Exhale, you know where we're going, half moon. Open it up and set it down. Two more where that came from. Let's wrap it up. Other arm on top, palms together, hips go back. Lift your heart, press your limbs together. Feel that deep connection. It's strong and powerful and connected. And then wild and fancy free. And take it one more time. Wrap it up. Squeeze it in. Other arm on top. Press it back. Big exhale. And then open it up. And set it down. Wiggle things out a little bit. We're going to have another little balancing exercise. If you want to have a chair or a wall just nearby in case it'll be useful to grab onto it. We do this one pretty frequently, not a long hold, but see if you can get your breath longer so that there is a longer hold. So it'll be kind of up to you exactly how long the space will be. Just moving with your breath. Bring your hands to your heart. I'm going to feel the inner thighs lifting up and forward so the toes kind of hold your weight high. And then you're going to feel your right knee lifting up. It could be a lot, or it could just be that foot hovers off the ground, and you'll set the foot back down. And move it with your breath. Inhale, lift one leg up, get taller. Exhale, set the foot down. And then inhale, take the right leg up. Feel those inner thighs lifting and set it down. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Feel that whole lift from the middle, set it down. Try to smooth it out with your breath. You might close your eyes. You might lift your arms, which might help you to feel more lifted, but it's a little bit stronger. See if you can slow down the lowering of your leg instead of just letting it flop down there. Take one more time each side. The leg doesn't have to lift far. Just barely graze off of the floor. And then set the foot down. Go ahead and bring your hands down to your heart. You're going to bring your feet in to touch. So you've got your big toes together. Your inner thighs are going to be together. They are going to squeeze and bring your hips slightly forward. Then reach up and hold on to your left wrist. We're going to take a little side bend. Really push down into that left foot. So it should get into that outer hip space. We've worked that a lot. Enjoy it. Exhale. And come up and find the other side. So hold on to the other wrist. Keep squeezing your thighs together, hips forward. Push down into the right foot. Breathing in, breathing out, and then coming up, resting the arms down. We're gonna come down into a squat. So just take yourself down there. You can take the squat where you're here, if that's a part of your practice. I'm just gonna say go ahead and bring your hips down. So we're gonna take a little bit more of this wide-legged seat. Elbows on the insides of thighs. If this is a lot of flexion for your hips, just bring your feet out further and you're going to lean forward, but open-hearted lean forward. Good. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then come out of this, release your elbows. Go ahead and bring your feet towards each other. They could be far, they could be close. Take a little wiggle side to side. And then you're going to start bringing your heart forward towards your feet, heart forward towards the space above your feet. And keep thinking soft and relaxed in the lower back. Staying with your breath. One more exhale. And then lift yourself up. Extend your legs out this time. They don't have to be super wide, but you might be able to go a little bit wider than you were before. Just finding a place that feels good to you. And then walk your hands forward. Just notice how far you get. It's just an observational point with this shape. Give yourself an exhale, let something relax. And then walk it back up. And you're going to turn your torso over your right thigh. Your hips, though, of course, are staying mostly front. So we've got a twist going on here, which means we're going to keep softening the belly every time you exhale and draw inwards towards this right leg. This hip probably lifts. It's okay if it lifts a bit. Just let it be relaxed. And then notice what happens. Sometimes it drops right back down. Sometimes it doesn't. It just stops feeling so tense. Not feeling so tense is actually quite nice. Big inhale. Big exhale. Start to walk the hands back in. You're going to take this over towards the other side, so it's the ribs and then the belly softens as you twist over towards the left leg, and just walk yourself over it as much as feels reasonably good to you. Find a way to soften somewhere in your right hip. One more round of breath. And start to walk it back. And now we're going to come forward maybe a little bit more than you did before, because maybe there's space, or maybe you stay here with your hands behind your hips because that feels more supportive and useful in your body, so that you can tune into your breath a little bit more. Maybe your hands do come forward a bunch. It's up to you where you go. Find a place where you can breathe and notice any changes that come up. Notice any opening that starts to happen. Allowing yourself to settle into those open spaces. Take another full round of breath. Really settle into your exhale. And then start to walk the hands back up. We're going to bring the legs in. Fold your right leg or your left leg in, and then take your right leg up. So you're a little bit uneven here. I'm just going to twist over towards the right thigh. Maybe you can cross all the way over so you've got your ankle crossed over the thigh. If that's too much on your knees or your hips or anything, come to this slightly more open space. And you're just going to soften your left ribs towards the right thigh. One more exhale. And release this twist. We're going to just find the other side. So it could be like really wrapped up here, so I'm down on that thigh and I've got the foot crossed over, or it's a little bit more open, which might be a little bit more accessible in your hips if they're feeling a little creaky with the weather change. And then you're going to start twisting over towards the left side. Right ribs go closer towards the thigh, or think about getting closer to the thigh. One more exhale. And then relax that twist. We're going to try to come to crisscross applesauce. Come to the way that's normal to you, like whatever way you go to naturally, and then go the other way. And if crisscross applesauce is not normal or natural at all to you, you're just going to take the legs out or feet together. We'll take a little fold twice. Whether or not you have the legs crossed does not make any difference in the value in this shape for you. We're just going to try to let this be a softening and a turning inwards. So that's my easy way. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to bring the hands forward and soften in. Try to relax your hips. Notice as you're there what space opens up and if you can lean into it. Now I'm going to turn the sun back on. I need a lighting designer. Take 2 more breaths. And start to walk it back up. If you have the legs crossed, you're going to cross in the other direction. If you have the legs extended, maybe you bring the feet closer together. If you have the feet closer together, maybe you extend the legs. Maybe you stay at the one you're at because that's the one that feels good. That's great. Bring your hands forward wherever you are. Come into this fold. Find softness. Recognize where you're at. Find ease there, and that is enough. Because whatever your body is doing right now is always enough. It could change, but it is this way now. Take 2 more breaths. And then start to walk your hands back in towards you. Unwind your legs from each other or draw them in. We're going to come down onto our backs. Going right into happy baby when you get there, since you just did all of that deep hip opening. It should feel pretty luscious. Unless it doesn't feel luscious, in which case you're just going to come out of it or just sit with that sensation, whatever it is. Take another exhale. Release your feet. Bring the knees towards each other. Your arms open up and your knees go over towards the right. Find a twist that feels really good to you. So you might wiggle your rib cage around a little bit. You might cross your legs over. You might open your legs up. Find a one that feels good. Come Feel like your happy place twist. One more round of breath. And then start coming into the happy place twist on the other side. Take your time getting there. There's no rush. You've got plenty of time to rest in each shape. Letting the belly soften every time you breathe out. Letting the eyebrows unravel. One more breath. Coming out of that, coming back to the center, let the feet plant down, the knees knock against each other. If there's anything else that your body is asking for to wrap up your practice, of course, go there. If you'd rather be seated or leave the legs like this, or take whatever kind of resting shape you like, or you can extend the legs, finding this corpse pose, this surrender into stillness, a stillness that still isn't still. The breath is moving. There's movement of your body on the inside. And it's not too terrifying. You remember that you're also hurtling through space, spinning around in space. To be honest, our existence in general is incredibly precariously balanced or imbalanced, but we're still okay here. Still able to breathe, able to be. Rest well. you start to come back into your body. Feeling your breath. Maybe making some small movements, perhaps that involves stretching the arms up over your head. Nice good morning stretch, like you're getting a new start to your day. And then bending your knees and rolling over. Turning inwards for a moment of gratitude for your practice. Coming onto your mat today. Find your own version of a comfortable seat. And bring your hands together at your heart. Sealing our practice, releasing one Om together. Big breath in. Bowing down to the love and to the light within each of our hearts. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, April. Thank you.
Thanks, April.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to this. Look at that little guy right back there.
Oh,
Who's
what a
that?
sweetheart.
Oh, sweetie, look at a cutie.
She can hear, but she doesn't know where this is coming from. So she's
Right? No, I know. She's going, who's talking to me? Oh, what?
who is here?
You see?
Oh, puppy.
Yeah, here's
I-
my.
Oh, little fuss.
He's getting the.
I'm on my iPhone, so